Overwatch 2 has just released, and I'm here today bringing a guide for everyone's favorite support character, Zenyatta. He's a character with a very high skill ceiling, so if you're someone looking to pick Zenyatta up for the first time, or you're just looking for some extra advice, you've clicked on the right video. Enjoy. I kicked him off!
I know.
Dude!
Fucking hell, he goes crazy.
Ah, fuck, I have to wait. Let's start this guide off with a quick overview for Zenyatta. Zenyatta is a potent offense-focused support. He stands out to me as a healer who boasts incredible killing power as well. His healing potential is also very high when he's used in the correct ways. He's limited by his lack of movement options and small health pool. Despite his negative traits, Zenyatta has the potential to be a great pick in the right hands. I'll be going over his attacks, abilities, strategies, and positioning. Let's start with his attacks. Both left-click and right-click attacks use Zenyatta's Orbs of Destruction. When you left-click, you fire orbs one at a time, one orb around every half a second. Each orb does 48 damage per body shot, and 96 damage per headshot. I prefer using left-click on moving targets both on the ground and in the air, as left-click has a fast enough fire rate in order for you to quickly adjust your crosshair on a target. Zenyatta's right-click is Orb Volley. Holding right-click charges up to 5 orbs in around 2.5 seconds.
Enemy spotted.
Landing all 5 orbs into the body deals 240 damage, while hitting head can deal double, at 480. This can well wipe over half the roster. I prefer using right-click on stationary targets, or when I predict that an enemy is about to peek me on an off angle. Unlike other attacks, there's no damage drop-off from distance with these orbs, so stay behind your team and aim for heads. A Zenyatta that is confident in aim can sometimes out-damage DPS players. I can't talk about attacks without bringing up Zenyatta's best buff from Overwatch 2, his melee. Zenyatta is an easy character to kill when you're in his face, and this was even more so the case in Overwatch 1. But in Overwatch 2, they actually buffed both the damage and the knockback of his kick. This shit does 45 damage now, which is great for finishing enemies pressing you at low health. But the knockback is fucking ridiculous. You can now just launch people off cliffs in this game to defend yourself, and it's perfect. Zenyatta really struggles in close range fights, so this buff is significant. Make sure you get those kicks in. Let's move on to his abilities. Zenyatta can throw an Orb of Discord onto an enemy. Enemies with this orb on them will take 25% more damage from all attacks. Here's an example. Doomfist takes 5 headshots to kill with Zenyatta, but with the Orb of Discord, it's only 4. This makes Orb of Discord a great ability to use on hefty tanks or DPS players harassing you. A good rule of thumb is to throw it on whoever's the biggest threat to your team at that time. Another great thing about the Orb of Discord is that it can give your team information. An enemy with the orb on them shows your team a visual cue as to where they are. Just be mindful that if they're out of Zenyatta's line of sight for 3 seconds, the orb is returned to him. Zenyatta heals his allies through Orb of Harmony. This projectile acts in a similar way to Orb of Discord. It doesn't heal a ton of health, only 30 health per second to be exact. The trade-off is that you don't have to be right next to a teammate in order to heal them. You can throw this orb from a distance. This allows Zenyatta players to stay in the back line, focusing on which teammates need healing. But remember, if a teammate of yours is out of sight for 3 seconds, the orb is returned to you. Zenyatta's abilities have 0 cooldown, so a great Zenyatta player is constantly scanning the map and making quick decisions as to where his Orb of Harmony and Orb of Discord should go. Zenyatta's ultimate is an amazing tool that can turn a fight into an easy one for your team if used correctly. In Transcendence, Zenyatta cannot use abilities or weapons, but he's immune to damage and automatically restores his health and his allies. This ultimate lasts 6 seconds, healing 300 HP per second. The main concern while using his ultimate is timing. You want to use this ult when there's a 5v5 fight going down. If you use it too early while your team's at full health, the other team can back off. If you use it too late, you may not get as much healing as you'd like to. You have to pay attention to debuffs as well, as I popped ult here while my teammates could not heal. This ult is best used in tight spaces when your team is grouped up with you. As promised, here are a few quick tips for Zenyatta's positioning and how you should play him. Do your best to stay behind your team. As Zenyatta, you're easy prey for enemy DPS and tank players. You want to keep enemies at a medium to long range to give yourself a chance at survival. Again, the orbs do not have damage drop-off, so there's only upside to throwing your orbs down a choke. As mentioned before, staying behind your team gives you a great deal of information as to who needs healing on your side. You can quickly shift your Orb of Harmony to each teammate, but I do my best to focus on healing your DPS. Zenyatta's orbs don't heal the way a Mercy or Moira does, so let them focus on your tank more often. This does not mean you shouldn't heal your tanks though. Lastly, be mindful of the opponent's line of sight, because if you're caught in a poor position, you'll die faster than most characters do. Please let me know if you enjoyed this video. I thought it was very fun to make, and I consider making more videos like this one on different characters in the future. I used to be a Smash Bros streamer on Twitch, but now I've transitioned over to Overwatch and Valorant, and I stream on YouTube. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, hit subscribe, and ring the bell.